Have you ever heard of the SWISH technique, like basketball, swish? We're going to talk about how that's used in politics today and what you can do to use it too. I'm Joshua Lisec. This is Daily Persuasion. I am the New York Times bestselling author and co-author, ghostwriter of 97 nonfiction books, and a certified hypnotist. Through this unique talent stack, I curate current events and teach you how to influence the VIPs of your life and your career. The SWISH technique comes from NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. As you may know, I spent a little time with Dr. Richard Bandler, the co-creator of NLP, back in the 1970s, a few weeks ago. We didn't spend time together in the 70s. It was a couple of weeks ago that we did. Anyway, the SWISH technique came up in conversation and in the workshop. The SWISH technique is often used by hypnotists, by NLP practitioners and hypnotherapists and whatnot to deal with phobias, as well as compulsions and, let's say, other obsessions that are, you might say, personality disorders and whatnot. So, for example, let's say if someone is a regular nail biter, well, the SWISH goes like this. So there's something that causes the person to be triggered and want to engage in biting of the nails, or perhaps pulling of the hair. That's also a personality flaw, defect issue. This can be done with phobias as well, by the way. So there's a trigger that causes the person to want to pull out their hair or to bite their nails. So the SWISH technique is sometimes in the trance state while the person is relaxed. The practitioner or the therapist will talk to them, will bring up the trigger. Imagine visualizing themselves experiencing the trigger. And then they immediately start having the person visualize something that is a positive outcome, the positive alternative to that. So in this case, it's going to be, they mention the trigger that would cause them to bite their nails, and then now imagine perfectly clean fingernails. They're crisp, they're smooth, they're whatever, male or female, you would then describe the visualization. And then in the trance, you do this over and over and over. It might be like switching it up, but swish is a more fun way of describing this. You offer them something else and then take it away. And this motion is often used, I understand, by NLP practitioners, offering what they want, take away what they don't. You want this, not this, right? This, not this. This sort of hand gesturing is used on the regular. So then you bring up the trigger, you then push that other behavior away, and then talk about what the visual, and then have them visualize it. And then with enough repetition, this ultimately results in the subsiding of that need or that desire or that urge or that obsession, that compulsion to do that. So the SWISH is often used in that regard. But if we look at a popular culture, notice how the SWISH technique is used negatively. You know how we're seeing all of these Teslas being firebombed, shot at, otherwise vandalized? There's even been a couple of bioterrorism attacks against Teslas and Tesla owners. It's a little absurd at this point. And it is, I believe, because the SWISH technique has been used negatively. So it's anti-therapy, what the left is doing to their own people via their own propaganda. So remember how Teslas used to be green, the best green car, electric vehicles, all made in America, stopping climate change, yay! That used to be the association. So the left had associated Teslas with climate change, environmentalism, yay, going green. And they're now taking that away, putting in Musk coup, totalitarian, Musk coup, totalitarian Trump, and attack, these sorts of language, the sort of words that are being used, they're instilling, or perhaps you might say installing into their victims something like a phobia of Elon Musk and all Teslas, something like an urge to feel hatred towards, a bitterness, a cruelty, an incitement of violence and a desire to commit violence. And we're seeing this happen across the United States to Teslas and also to Tesla owners. Like, there could be kids inside, there could be families inside these things, and they're firebombing them. Fortunately, we're seeing sentences of something like 20 years in prison for this sort of domestic terrorism against Tesla owners. So that's good, and that will probably put it down. But the SWISH technique has been used to replace the positive association with Tesla with the negative association. And it's being that repetition over and over and over and over and over again via all their social media, all the memes, all of their so-called news sources, all the Democratic leaders. It's over and over and over again. They mentioned Tesla, which formerly was the positive trigger for the behavior of, oh, going green, that's nice, I should buy one. And they have done away with that one and put a new one in its place, the new trigger and the new response. So they use the SWISH technique negatively. And it's via that insistent repetition, regular repetition, and the mention of Tesla, Trump, Tesla, instead of Tesla going green, Tesla climate, save the climate, Tesla Trump, Tesla must coup. They do this over and over and over again to result in you seeing a Tesla out there. You immediately think Trump, coup, Nazi, fascist, and the person's brain just gets fried via that, and then they feel like they have to engage in violence to save our democracy or something ridiculous like that. So think about how you can use the SWISH technique positively. You can use this in your marketing. If there's something that you want people to positively associate with you or with your brand, you mention it and then show them something positive. Mention it, show them something positive. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You show them the thing, and then the thing that they either have no feeling about, no thoughts about, or something maybe even negative about, show them in the positive. Show them positive. Show them positive. This is how Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud and the creator of modern propaganda and mass media in the United States, this is how he was able to make women smoke cigarettes, which had been considered a disgusting behavior of men. Tobacco it caused women to have the disgust reflex, and then he realized, seeing a cigarette, feeling disgust, cigarette disgust. Well, what if we take that away? What if we use the SWISH technique and replace that with cigarette feminism, cigarette women's liberation, cigarette freedom, cigarette no bra, cigarette short hair, cigarette short dress, cigarette freedom, cigarette suffrage. And over and over and over again through this campaign of calling them freedom torches for a woman to do this thing that was exclusively the behavior of a man, right? You could become equal to a man by engaging in this disgusting behavior, but we're going to just switch that away and replace it with freedom, feminism, liberation, all these different things. And it worked. It worked exceedingly well. By the way, this was also done with the mainstream adoption of positive attitude towards, and also the legal acceptance of homosexuality, homosexual relationships, gay marriage, for example. The SWISH technique was used to replace the almost universal disgust response to the trigger, and replace it with, oh, that's nice, pride, rainbows, pride, happy, freedom, equality, love is love, love is love. Gays, love is love, gays, rainbows, gays, love is love, gays, equal rights, over and over and over and over and over again. Gays, cute couple, gays, they're so funny, gays, theater, over and over and over again, to disassociate this and associate this instead. The SWISH technique has been used on the American people many times in many ways. It's probably been used on you, and now that you're aware of it, you can realize it's happening, and you can use it for your own means and ends.